dim the lights, let go of the day, and slip into something a little more honest. You're listening to Why Is It So Hard with Lizzie and Nash, where things get deep, raw, and just a little dangerous.
Okay, buckle up, baby, because this is the one. This is the one where we stop pretending, the one where we throw our dignity out the window and admit the thing nobody wants to say out loud. We've all fucked up sex. Not just once, not just oops, we weren't vibing. I mean full body, face reddening, please let the earth swallow me mistakes. And if you say you haven't, you're lying or boring or a deeply suspicious AI programmed for modesty. This episode is our gift to every one of you who's ever had that moment where you're mid-thrust, mid-moan, mid-magic, and something happens. Something weird, something painful, something that instantly turns sex from sexy to sitcom.
You know it's real when sex starts to feel like a deleted scene from America's Funniest Home Videos. You're trying to channel your inner porn star, and instead you end up stuck in your own hoodie, one sock half on, looking like a horny turtle trying to escape.
And we're not here to teach you anything tonight, so let's get this out of the way early. We are not your therapist. We are two married, wildly inappropriate weirdos who have lived through more sexual awkwardness than we've liked to admit. And we're still out here doing the damn thing.
And sometimes we do it well, but other times
we try to role play and end up sounding like a cartoon villain. Or we get so tangled in limbs and straps and props that we literally fall off the fucking bed. And the thing is, we survive. We laugh, we do it again, and we get better. Maybe.
And I know some of you are like, that's never happened to me. Yeah, okay, shut up. We all know it has. You just haven't told anyone yet.
It's the stuff we don't post about, the stuff we don't talk about over brunch. But it's also the stuff that makes sex human, the weirdness, the laughter, the trying too hard, and the oops, that's not the whole moment.
And let's be honest, awkward sex stories, way better than perfect ones. Nobody wants to hear that you had eye contact, multiple orgasms, and a synchronized moan under candlelight. What we want to hear is you farted mid-thrust and the dog started barking.
Yes. So tonight is for every one of you who's ever tried to yank off your own pants and fallen sideways, accidentally hit your partner in the face trying to flip positions, said something sexy that landed like a wet sock, lost your erection mid-act and tried to cheer it back to life.
Rah, rah.
Had a vibrator run out of battery at the absolute worst time, queefed so loudly it echoed off the fucking headboard, or just completely missed the mark going down and prayed they didn't notice.
Yeah, they noticed.
Oh, they noticed. They just didn't want to break you.
So let's start there with what I lovingly refer to as the confident collapse. You go into the moment all puffed up, you're feeling yourself, you've got the playlist on, the lights are low, you've showered, maybe you even did a couple of push-ups beforehand like a psycho. You are ready. And then something happens. A belt gets stuck. You pull your shirt off and get it caught on your elbow. I don't know why you're over there laughing already. You try to pick her up and realize you have no business lifting anything heavier than a salad. And suddenly your brain goes from sexy God to, are we still doing this?
It's wild how fragile the sexual ego is. You can go from I'm a beast to, oh my God, am I even sexy anymore? In 2 seconds flat if the lighting hits your ass wrong.
There was a night early in our relationship, I don't know if you remember this, but I tried to take off your bra one-handed. I'd seen it in a movie, seen it 100 times. It looked cool. I figured, I'm a man, I have hands, I can do this.
I absolutely remember.
I fumbled with it for so long I started sweating. Literal beads of sweat. You were looking at me like, should I help? But I was too deep in the struggle. I was committed. And when I finally got it unhooked, the strap snapped and hit me in the mouth.
You flinched like you'd been hit by a tranquilizer dart.
The mood, dead, gone, vanished. It was like God himself turned off the vibe dial.
But that's what makes it beautiful. You were so determined. And honestly, watching a grown man lose to a bra clasp is one of the most vulnerable, hilarious things you can witness. I wanted to jump your bones and give you an ice pack.
Yeah, that was the moment I knew you were the one. So let's get into this one. The one that haunts every dude who's ever been down there thinking he's killing it. And instead, He's licking everything but the clit like he's lost on a desert trail with no compass.
Sir, say it louder. Say it louder for the men in the back who are currently reading this episode description and still don't know what the hell they're doing.
I thought I knew. I really did. I had watched videos. I had read articles. I had taken mental notes. And then I got down there for the first time and my brain just blanked.
He licked my labia like he was trying to clean off a smudge on a compact mirror. Just soft little side-to-side swipes. No rhythm, no pressure, no direction.
You know that moment where you're trying to find the Wi-Fi and you're kind of just like waving your phone around hoping for a signal? That was me. My tongue was out there like a divining rod and it was not connecting.
I was like, bless his heart. He thinks he's doing something. I didn't stop you because, let's be real, women have been taught not to interrupt when someone's giving them head. But baby, I was planning my grocery list in my head.
And it's not like y'all give us instructions. You just moan vaguely and kind of shift around and we're supposed to interpret it like it's Morse code.
That's fair. I'll take some of the accountability for the lack of GPS. But there are also men who hear any moan and think it's the sound of victory, not desperation.
The thing is, once I learned, like really learned what worked, it changed everything.
Yes.
Because suddenly it wasn't about, am I doing it right? It was about reading you. Watching your body, listening to your breath, feeling your thighs start to shake.
Yes, and that's the difference between someone trying to get you off and someone trying to perform sex. I don't want a Broadway number. I want a felt experience. And that means letting go of the ego and getting comfortable with being a little awkward while you figure it out.
And that applies to everything. You ever tried to transition positions and end up kneeing your partner in the stomach?
Yes. Or when your hair gets stuck under your elbow and you have to choose between staying in the moment or screaming in pain.
I once got so sweaty during a summer quickie that I literally slipped off of you. Just right out.
We both laughed so hard, I snorted. You looked at me like, did we just die?
And that's what it comes down to. If you can't laugh mid-sex, or at least in the aftermath while you're peeling the condom off and trying to find your pants in the dark, you're missing the best part.
The connection, the humanity, the oh my God, did that just happen? And yes, it did.
Yeah.
And you lived. And guess what? You're gonna fumble again and again and again. If you're lucky, someone's gonna fumble with you.
All right, let's talk about what I call the dominance delusion. You think you're in control. You've watched a couple spicy videos. Maybe you've read a post online or heard a story about some guy who pulled his girl's hair, whispered something dirty, and she absolutely fell apart under him. So you think, yeah, I can do that. You think you're going to say something hot, something positive, something primal. And instead, you sound like a fucking BMV employee.
Yes, that moment where the energy's all hot, you're feeling good, bodies are pressed together, the rhythm is right, and then he opens his mouth and goes, you like that, don't you? But it sounds like he's reading it off a prompt card he found in his glove box.
Maybe I did. Okay, and you can't recover from that. You try, but it's like someone popped the balloon. You're both just staring at the ceiling fan like, do we keep going or do we just high five and go eat the leftovers?
It's the voice, the performance voice. Guys, I need you to hear this. If your voice goes one full octave deeper the second your pants come off, we notice. If it's not seductive, it's suspicious.
Guilty. I've done the voice. I've absolutely dropped my tone and tried to do the whole get on your knees moment.
Yep.
Except I sounded like I was trying to sell her a timeshare in hell.
I wish I could say women don't do the same thing, but we do. We put on our porn star breathy whisper and say things like, I'm so wet for you.
Damn.
In this dead monotone way because we think that's what we're supposed to say. But we're not in it. It's like we're repeating lines from a sex ed video shot in 2003.
You said something once years ago, and you're going to kick my ass for saying this. I'm never going to forget it. You were trying to be seductive and moaned, take me like your dirty little baked potato.
Okay, that was an accident. I meant brat. I don't know where baked potato came from.
They don't even rhyme. Either way, it fucking wrecked me. I still think about that today. It pops into my head at the worst moments. You like that, baby? And my brain's like, baked potato.
Hey, some people are into starch.
That's true.
But seriously, Dirty talk is one of the quickest ways to tip from erotic into awkward. You say the wrong word, you mispronounce something, you go too soft when you meant to growl, and suddenly it feels like you're reading phone numbers in a bathroom stall.
And once the cringe hits, it's hard to reel it back in.
Yes.
You start second guessing yourself, you try to say something else, overcorrect, and then you're like, you're my filthy little elf princess.
Oh, fuck off.
Look, I panicked. You were wearing the sparkly headband and I'd lost the plot.
That was a Christmas party.
We were drunk.
There were cheese cubes. Nobody was going to climax that night.
But that's just it. Real sex is full of these moments. And I swear, the best sex we've ever had, the kind that made us breathless and shaking and just, wrecked, every single time, there was some weird little beat in there. A snort, a misfire,
yes,
a queef, something imperfect. And instead of letting it kill the vibe, we used it, rolled with it, let it make us laugh until we couldn't breathe, and then we fucked even harder afterwards.
Because vulnerability, that's hot. It's real. It's way more intimate than some over-rehearsed pose-perfect performance. You letting go of the script, that's the good shit.
So let's talk about another one. You ever try to dominate in bed, like really step into that role? You already laugh. And then your body decides, actually, no, not today, the boner betrayal.
Oh, here we go.
There is nothing more humbling than being mid-sex, feeling like a god, then out of nowhere, your boner just slowly fizzles. Not all at once, not even dramatically. Just quietly exits stage left like it saw something it didn't like and decided to tap out.
You've got to be in the moment and in your body. And if your brain decides it's suddenly worried about how you looked in the mirror, or if you're taking too long, or if you locked the front door, good night, Dick.
Look, there was one night we were halfway through. The vibe was good. You were making all the right noises. So was I. And then suddenly I remembered that I hadn't paid the electric bill. Like, bam, out of fucking nowhere.
And just like that, soft serve.
Soft serve. You were sweet, though. You didn't make it weird. You just kind of looked at me, smiled, and said, want to order Chinese instead?
Because I've been there.
You lost a boner?
Yes. Women may not have boners to lose, but we absolutely lose arousal the second the mood shifts. Too much pressure, we disconnect. Wrong rhythm, we drift. Weird smell, lights out.
Yeah, there was this one time when I went down on you after a night of drinking, and you just stopped me mid-lick and said, nope, it's too tequila-y down there. Abort mission.
Don't act shocked. I saved us both from a long, confusing, salt-rimmed nightmare.
Okay, that's fair. But that right there, that kind of honesty, that's what makes sex feel safe. Not in the comfortable socks and tea kind of way, but in the I can fumble and still feel wanted kind of way.
Exactly. And I want everyone listening to hear this. Awkward does not mean bad. Awkward can be hot. Awkward can be hilarious. Awkward means you're in it, you're trying, you're showing up with your whole human self, and your whole human self is going to have moments where you cramp up, forget a line, or accidentally lick a nipple way too hard.
Can you even do that?
Yes.
Speaking of, we should probably tell the whipped cream story.
Oh, not yet. That one needs a build up. That one deserves its own moment. Let's talk about intention versus execution, because sometimes the biggest sexual fails don't come from lack of enthusiasm. They come from trying too damn hard.
So much damage has been done by people trying to be impressive in bed. You know, the guy who's like, don't worry, babe, I've got something special planned tonight. And then busts out a box of stuff from under the bed that's either way too advanced or straight up confusing.
I once had a guy pull out a pair of fuzzy handcuffs and a Bible verse at the same time. I was like, am I supposed to feel naughty or absolved? Spoiler, I felt neither. I felt like I needed an adult.
You ever bust out a toy you thought was going to level things up and it just straight up murdered the vibe?
You mean like when I brought out that huge silver vibrator that looked like a space weapon and you looked at it like I was going to steal your job?
I was ready to watch Star Wars. That thing had modes, Lizzie. Modes. That thing had more buttons than a TV remote and a charging dock like a fucking Roomba. I wasn't intimidated. I just wasn't sure if I was still invited to the party.
To be fair, I think I also turned it on before I was even wet.
You did.
So it just buzzed against me like an annoyed bumblebee. And then I hit the wrong setting and it made that grinding noise. Yeah, instant dry spell.
Yeah, that was the sound of my erection packing a suitcase and leaving the building.
But that's the thing. Everyone talks about adding toys like it's this smooth, sexy upgrade. And don't get me wrong, it can be. But no one warns you that it's also an IKEA situation. Lots of parts, unclear instructions, and someone's going to get frustrated and yell.
And that's just the warm-up. Let's talk surprise anal.
No, listen up. If you're thinking about playing near the back door and your partner doesn't know that's where this is headed, you are not spicy. You are not adventurous. You are a fucking burglar.
An ass burglar. I learned this the awkward way. I didn't go full in, but let's just say I drifted south a little without giving you a heads up.
Yeah.
And you turned around so fast, I thought you were going to elbow me.
I did elbow you in the ribs, lovingly.
And then you said, and I quote, "Sir, do not enter without knocking."
Because communication is sexy, y'all.
So is knocking.
And surprise anything, especially involving tight muscles and trauma zones, is not a turn on.
But again, it came from a place of excitement of trying to do more. And I think a lot of couples hit that wall where they want to spice things up, but don't actually talk about what spicy means for them.
So they wing it. They go for it in the moment. They try to read the room while also shoving fingers where no fingers were asked for. And suddenly, what was supposed to be hot becomes this confusing, clumsy, almost comical derailment.
And then comes the most awkward part of all, the pause. That moment when everything just stops. You both freeze and you're looking at each other like, so we good?
And sometimes the answer is no.
Yeah.
You're not good. You're annoyed. You're embarrassed. Your body's locked up and you need a minute to breathe and reset. But now you've got a naked partner hovering over you like a confused mechanic asking, "Want me to try again?"
One time I tried to get sexy and push you back onto the bed with my dominant man strength, and I didn't realize the bed frame had wheels. You rolled back like 5 feet.
I felt like I was on a damn hospital gurney. I was like, "Code blue, we've lost the vibe."
We both just sat there. You tried to sit up and your hair was stuck to the headboard. I tried to crawl towards you and hit my shin on the side table. It was like a slow motion blooper reel.
And yet we rallied.
Because that's the magic, right? When you both can rally after the fumble. When you're both able to say, okay, that sucked, but we're still here. We're still hot. We're still in this, and you're still going to get railed.
And sometimes the rally sex, the rebound fuck, that shit hits harder than the original plan ever would have. Because now you're both loose. You've laughed, you've dropped the pretense, the pressure's off, and suddenly the real heat kicks in.
It's no longer about proving something. It's about connecting. It's about being in each other's bodies, sure, but also in each other's humanness, that messy, beautiful chaos.
So if you're out there beating yourself up because you fumbled a position or said something dumb or lost your erection or queefed so loud the cat jumped, let's say this with love. You're not broken. You're just human.
I'm surprised that we didn't say messed with the nipple piercing just a little too hard. Anyway, you're probably way sexier than you think because people who can laugh in bed, who can mess up and stay present, who can lean into awkward and still want to keep exploring, that's the kind of partner you want.
Speaking of laughter in bed.
Whipped cream?
Whipped cream. All right, I think we've warmed you up enough. We've aired some of our own fumbles. We've limped through position fails. We've shamed the robotic dirty talkers and the surprise backdoor hopefuls. We've honored the boner losers and the tequila regrets. But now it's time for you to take the stage.
And oh my goodness, y'all did not disappoint. We asked for your awkward sex stories, and you delivered like horny little saints covered in lube and shame.
We got so many entries, we could have turned this into an entire side podcast called Oops, That was my thigh.
But we narrowed it down to some of our absolute favorites. And yes, we changed names to protect identities. But if you sent one in, you'll know it's you. And I promise we will get to the whipped cream.
Or maybe you'll be like, oh God, someone else did that too. Either way, you're not alone.
All right, first up, this one is from someone we're just going to call Molly. And I'm just going to say there's food involved and not in the way you want.
Okay, hit it, babe.
Dear Lizzie and Nash, I thought I'd be cute and surprise my boyfriend with some whipped cream in bed. We were messing around and I sprayed it on my breasts, thinking he'd go wild for it. And he did, at first, until I realized the can I grabbed from the fridge wasn't whipped cream, it was easy cheese. I accidentally sprayed processed cheese all over myself. The room reeked. The mood died instantly, and to this day, he calls me Nacho Tits.
No, Nacho Tits.
I can't. That's it. Episode is over.
No, we need to sit with this. First of all, easy cheese in the fridge, rookie mistake. It's shelf stable. Why was it cold?
That means they had a plan, like someone had moved that thing to the fridge for a reason. Maybe they were thinking ahead, or maybe they just love cold cheese.
Also, how do you not notice the smell immediately? Whipped cream is sweet, light. Easy cheese smells like the inside of a bowling alley.
But picture the moment. She's feeling herself. She's probably lit. She thinks she's being hot. She leans back with a come get it look, and he goes in thinking it's dessert and gets hit with nacho gas.
And you know that man hesitated. He probably paused, sniffed, blinked, and thought, I'm already here. Do I just power through?
But you can't recover from cheese tit. You can't. That's a vibe extension level event.
I love Molly for owning this, but also this is why you test your props before bringing them into bed.
100%. If it comes in a can, a pump, or makes a hiss when you press it, it deserves a safety inspection.
And let's be real. Most food play sounds hot until you're actually doing it.
Right.
Chocolate syrup, sticky mess. Honey makes your sheets feel like fly paper. Whipped cream, it melts. And not in a good way. You end up damp, smelly, and wondering if you just gave yourself a yeast infection.
You once tried to do a trail of maple syrup on me, and it slid straight down to my ass crack.
I did. And then you clinched, and I swear I heard the sound of a tree falling in the forest.
And then we spent 15 minutes in the shower yelling, "Is it still sticky?"
You smelled like brunch for a week.
Okay, you ready for another? This next one is short but devastating. This one's from Steve. I bought a silk robe for my girlfriend as part of a sexy night in. We were going to role play. Me as the strict professor, her as the naughty student. The plan was to slowly undress her, talk dirty, and make it unforgettable. But when I went to pull the sash on the robe, I yanked too hard and punched myself directly in the face. I went down hard. Nosebleed. The sex never happened.
Oh my God. That is Shakespearean. That is art.
Imagine trying to look dominant, all like you've been a very bad girl. And then wham, instant knockout.
And the nosebleed is the kicker. You can't fuck through a nosebleed. That's not hot. That's trauma.
Yeah, also silk, that shit is slippery. You're already one bad grip away from a full pratfall. You ever tried to grab someone in a silk robe? It's like wrestling a banana peel.
Yes, but I love this man's vision. He had a plan. He had a costume. He had a dialogue. And the robe said, "No, sir, not tonight."
Honestly, I hope she took care of him, gave him an ice pack, tucked him in, something. Maybe sent a detention notice the next morning just to complete the arc.
Because when someone fumbles that hard in the name of turning you on, you owe them a little aftercare.
All right, we'll hit more emails in a bit, but let's pause and say this. If you're willing to look stupid for your partner, that's hot. If you're willing to make a mess, try something new, swing and miss, and laugh about it, that's not failure. That's fucking magic.
You can't be sexy all the time, but you can be real. And that shit lasts longer than any silk robe or cheese-scented nipple.
Okay, I'm still recovering from Nacho Tits, and I'm pretty sure that one might live in my brain forever.
I just keep picturing someone trying to be seductive, only for their boobs to smell like a baseball stadium concession. Like you lean in for a lick and get hit with aerosol cheddar.
Gross.
There's no coming back from that. You have to change your name and start over in a new state.
All right. This next one, this is where we start getting into some real heartburn. It's not just awkward, it's awkward and emotionally painful.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Break my heart and make me laugh, Daddy.
Okay, this one's from someone we're gonna call Olivia. We were having the best sex of our relationship. I'm on top. It's hot. It's sweaty. It's all the things. And I'm right there, right at the edge when I moan his name, except it's not his name. It's my ex's name. Loud, right in his fucking ear. He stopped, just froze. I panicked and said it was an old nickname, but he looked at me like I had just handed him a divorce notice mid-thrust.
Oh, no. Oh, honey.
That's not a vibe killer. That's a soul evacuation.
And the worst part, you can't fix it. There's no rewind. There's no cover-up. You say the wrong name, and suddenly the room goes cold. Dicks go soft, trust dies.
You can tell him it was a mistake, that it meant nothing. But in his head, he's now picturing your ex in his spot. That's spiritual damage.
Yes. I once said the wrong name, not during sex, thank goodness, but during pillow talk after. I was stroking the guy's chest, looking all tender, all soft and glowing and connected, and I whispered, "You always make me feel so safe, Evan." His name was Matt.
Oh, shit.
And I tried to pivot. I was like, no, I meant even, like you make me feel so even, like balanced.
Nice save.
That man looked at me like I just licked a subway pole.
That's gross. There's a unique flavor of pain that comes from being on the receiving end of that mistake. You start running a mental CSI file. Who's Evan? When did they last fuck? Was he better? Taller? Did he eat ass?
And it's never just about the name. It's what the name represents. It's the ghost of your partner's past, suddenly naked in the room with you, just chilling on the headboard.
All right, let's keep this train rolling. This next one made me want to crawl inside myself and never come out. It's from Fiona. I faked orgasms for the first 6 months of my relationship. Every time we had sex, I'd make the sounds, do the clench, the shake, the whole show. I didn't know how to tell him I just wasn't getting there. Then one night, he sat up, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're not coming, are you?" I died on the spot, and he just sighed. He didn't get mad. He just said, "Okay, can we actually talk about it now?"
Oof, that hits hard. But also, can we take a second to honor that man?
Seriously, because most people either don't notice or worse, don't want to notice.
And it's so common. Women faking orgasm isn't some rare thing. It's damn near a rite of passage. We learn how to perform before we even know what we want.
And the thing is, once that pattern starts, it's hard as hell to break because now there's this whole expectation cycle. He thinks he's doing great. She thinks she can't tell him the truth without shattering his fragile dick ego. And suddenly, nobody's coming, but everyone's pretending.
And if you're a guy listening and you're now spiraling like, oh my God, has every orgasm I ever witnessed been fake? Here's a tip. Ask, but also listen.
Absolutely.
Ask her what she likes. Ask her what she wants more of. Watch her body. If she's shaking like a leaf, you're probably good. If she sounds like a porn star but hasn't moved in 5 minutes, buddy, you're not hitting the right spot. You're just hitting repeat.
And ladies, if you've been faking it and you feel like you're stuck in a lie, you're not broken and you're not bad, but you deserve to get off too. And faking your way through it doesn't make you considerate. It makes you tired and disconnected.
Also, no one wants to be the star of a performance where the other person already knows how it ends. We want the real shit, even if it takes time, even if it's messy, even if it doesn't happen tonight. Give us real.
All right. You ready for one more before we take a breather?
If it's the one with the pillow and the broken toe, yes.
Oh, it's absolutely that one. This is from someone we're calling Pillow Fight Phil. She wanted to try something a little more rough, so I grabbed a pillow, got behind her, and tried to push her face first into it while staying deep. But I overestimated my strength and underestimated the angle. Her face bounced off the mattress. She headbutted me in the jaw. I fell back and cracked my toe on the bedpost. We both ended up groaning in pain and laughing so hard we cried. That was the end of rough play for a while.
That's what we call too much enthusiasm, not enough physics. The holy trinity of sex injuries.
And it's so relatable. The second you try to do something a little more primal, just a little spice, you realize how much of that shit requires choreography, timing, precision.
People watch rough sex online and think it's just about going harder. Nah, babe. It's about reading cues, controlling the rhythm, and knowing the limits of your furniture.
Also, pillows lie.
Yes.
They seem soft, but when you faceplant on them at the wrong angle, that's a concussion waiting to happen.
I once tried to do that. Push your partner down while taking control move. You were into it until I pushed too hard and smacked your chin on the mattress and you bit your own tongue.
I tasted blood. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to ruin your moment, but the next day I had a canker sore from your dominance.
Okay, that's love. That's commitment. That's relationship goals. All right. I don't know what it says about our listeners that we've now received multiple emails involving bodily injuries and broken furniture, but I love y'all.
I really do. It makes me feel less alone knowing that I'm not the only one who's almost concussed myself trying to move from missionary to cowgirl like I'm directing a Broadway set change.
Okay, this next one made me laugh so hard I choked on my coffee. It involves something so innocent, so universal, something we've all done in bed.
Let me guess. Music?
Music.
Music's the secret chaos agent of sex. One wrong song and you're spiraling.
This one comes from Pam. We were having sex for the first time. I put on a playlist labeled Sexy Mix that I hadn't listened to in a while. First two songs were fine, but then, out of nowhere, My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion starts playing. And I didn't notice until I was full on riding him. We both froze as she belted, "You're here, there's nothing I fear." And I burst into tears, not because of the song, but because I laughed so hard I had a full body breakdown. We never hooked up again.
Ouch, that's a tragedy and a gift. That's like Titanic level ironic.
You ever had sex to the wrong soundtrack?
Yeah.
I once made out with a girl while Pink Floyd played softly in the background, and I swear I floated out of my body.
I once let Spotify autoplay after the bedroom playlist ended, and we accidentally started having sex to a podcast about cryptocurrency fraud.
Was that the night I asked you mid-stroke, what the fuck is a blockchain?
Yeah, that was the night.
It's funny how much music can control the entire mood and how fast it can ruin it.
1 minute you're making out to The Weeknd, next minute someone's mixtape starts and it's just a guy whisper rapping over a YouTube beat, kills it.
Okay, this next one is short but brutal. It comes from Steve. We were in the middle of oral. Her on me, eyes locked, hot as hell. I tried to say something dirty like, "You like how I taste?" But right as I spoke, my Apple Watch heard it and activated Siri.
Oh, shit.
Loudly, she paused, confused. Then Siri said, "I didn't quite catch that. Could you repeat?" We both sat there in horror as the vibe just evaporated.
Holy crap. Siri just cock-blocked that man.
This is why I turn everything off before sex. Phones, watches, televisions, smart fridges, fucking toasters. If it has a speaker, it's not welcome in the room.
You ever have Alexa interrupt a quickie with, "I'm sorry, I didn't get that"? It feels like fucking somebody's watching.
One time we were mid-scene and my phone, which I thought was off, started auto-playing a YouTube ad for cat food. You just stared at me while a British voice said, "Whiskers for sensitive digestion."
You totally need to do that in a British accent. I was already soft, but that really finished the job.
But this is real. Sex today isn't just bodies and emotions. It's technology. We're surrounded by gadgets, phones lighting up, watches buzzing, Bluetooth connections switching to the wrong speaker mid-moan.
You ever had your vibrator pair with a Bluetooth speaker and suddenly the whole house hears the hum?
You mean like when I tried to connect it discreetly and accidentally sent it to the kitchen speaker while your mom was washing dishes?
Yep, that's the one. Bless her, she just kept scrubbing like nothing happened.
Okay, next up is from Tommy. You're going to want to sit down for this one. My girlfriend and I tried our first threesome. We talked about it for months, found someone we vibed with. It was all going fine until the moment I realized they were both talking dirty to each other and not to me. I was basically a sex intern. No eye contact, no touching, just me standing there, naked, holding a condom like a fucking prop. I left to go pee and came back, and they were still going without me. I ended up sitting on the edge of the bed, clapping awkwardly.
Oh, no, that's not a threesome. That's a soft rejection with bonus nudity.
That's how you end up writing poetry alone in a robe.
You come in thinking you're going to be the star of the show, and you end up being the lighting technician.
It's the worst case scenario. You want to be included. You want to feel desired. And instead, you're holding a condom like a lost kid at a carnival.
I've never seen a kid at a carnival. Anyway, it happens. You bring someone new into the bedroom, and sometimes the chemistry goes sideways. One person ends up feeling left out, even when everyone's trying to be inclusive.
But if you're that person, you've got two choices. Speak the hell up, exit gracefully, order tacos, and live to fuck another day.
This guy chose door number 3, sit quietly and clap.
You know what? I respect the quiet dignity of the sex clap. It's giving supportive stage mom energy.
Yeah, great job, ladies. Incredible pelvic work. Love the rhythm. Could have used a little more me, but, whatever. All right, if you're still with us at this point, first of all, thank you, you twisted, beautiful people.
Yeah, if you made it through the easy cheese, the face plants, the wrong names, Siri's unexpected threesome audition, and the sad sex intern with the clapping hands, you are exactly our people.
So now we enter what I call the advanced awkward zone. This is when sex should have gone great. You were ready, you'd planned, you had toys, lighting, music. Of course, it wasn't Celine Dion, but then something stupid happened.
Like your body said, absolutely not. Or the toy malfunctioned. Or someone said, choke me, and the other person panicked.
This one's from Danielle, and I'll just say this up front. Choking play, not for the untrained.
No.
Not for the faint of heart, not for the nervous first-timers. All right. I asked him to choke me. He looked scared but nodded like, yeah, totally. Mid-position switch, he reached out with his claw hand like he was trying to throttle a cartoon villain and gently gripped the front of my neck like he was checking for a pulse. It didn't hurt. It didn't turn me on. I just felt like a TSA pat-down. I made eye contact and said, "That's not a choke. That's a security clearance." He stopped immediately and apologized. I had to explain that I wanted pressure, not a light moral squeeze.
A light moral squeeze. That's the sexiest thing I've ever heard.
This man gripped her throat like she was a wayward teenager and he was just disappointed. No heat, just accountability.
Look, choking sounds hot until you're the one doing it and you suddenly realize you have no idea how hard is too hard. Where the hell to put your hand or what the hell to do with the other one.
I remember the first time I tried to choke you and it felt like I was just awkwardly holding your neck like I was helping you pose for a mugshot.
You literally said, "Am I doing this right?" while squeezing. Nothing kills the vibe faster than verbal evaluation during choking.
But that's real. Everyone wants to act like they're a sex god who was born knowing how to slap, spank, grip, flip, and dom with perfect pressure and confidence. But in real life, you learn. And you learn by fucking up first.
And the communication is everything. If someone says, "choke me," and you don't feel confident, you fucking say so. You don't do your best cautious ghost impression and hope she doesn't notice.
All right, you want a real panic moment?
Yes.
This next one comes from Jimmy. And I promise you, this one goes from hot to horrifying in under 10 seconds. All right, we were doing a consensual roleplay scene. Me as the burglar, her as the helpless wife. We had a whole plan. Masks, fake struggle, even handcuffs. I broke in through the back door at midnight, as planned. She screamed. It was hot as hell until her Apple Watch detected a fall and auto-dialed 911. We didn't hear it. We were mid-role play when 2 officers showed up at our front door. She answered in lingerie. I was still in a ski mask. They drew their weapons.
Nope. I'm out. I would simply die. There is no coming back from that.
Yeah, they got swatted by Apple. Technology really said, not today, Kingsters.
Imagine trying to explain that to the police while half naked, still in character. Officer, I swear, he's not breaking in. He's just here to destroy my pussy.
There's no script for that. No role play handbook says if the police arrive during your scene, kindly remove your baklava and show them your shared safe word tattoo.
That is nightmare fuel. But also, 10 out of 10 would watch the documentary. Title, 50 Shades of Sirens.
Also, can we talk about fall detection on smartwatches? Like, I get it. It's supposed to save lives. But the idea that your wrist might decide mid-sex, that seemed like a medical emergency, is next level humiliating.
It's giving your thrusts were too chaotic. I'm calling for help.
All right. Let's shift slightly. This next one is from Crackshot Charles. We were experimenting with edging. My partner had been teasing me for hours. No release, tons of buildup. Finally, she gave me permission to come, and I was so pent up, I shot straight into my own eye. I screamed. She laughed so hard she fell off the bed. I had to go rinse my eye in the sink like I'd pepper sprayed myself with cum. It burned. I cried, but we're still together.
The accuracy, the arc, the friendly fire.
That's a tragedy and a flex at the same time. That man's balls were working overtime. He blasted himself into a one-eyed pirate.
That's what she gets for holding the orgasm hostage for too long. Nature finds a way.
Also, I don't think people realize how much distance a pent-up orgasm can cover. If you edge long enough, your dick becomes a confetti cannon with no sense of direction.
It's all fun and games until someone yells, "My cornea."
We had a moment like that once. I didn't get my eye, but I definitely hit my own ear and started slapping it like there was a bug in it.
I was laughing so hard I got a cramp in my abs. Nothing says intimacy like rinsing jizz off each other's face while trying not to slip in your own sweat. Okay, we've hit the point in this episode where you're either buckled over in secondhand shame, crying from laughter, or just quietly texting your partner. Do you remember that one time we almost burned the house down with massage oil?
Look, if you've never stopped mid-sex to Google, is peppermint lube supposed to burn this much? You're either a liar or a coward.
We've done Easy Cheese. We've done Siri. We've done the eye shot. But now we're heading into sacred territory. The one thing that makes any sexual moment instantly horrifying.
Animals, specifically your pets. And even more specifically, when they become part of the scene by accident.
This one's from Taylor. And I just want to issue a warning. If your dog sleeps in your bed, you might want to rethink that.
You're already cracking up over this one.
We were going at it doggy style. Me bent over in bed, him behind me. Absolute perfection. Until I felt something wet on my foot. I thought it was him. Some new move. I moaned. Then I looked down and saw my dog licking my toes.
Oh, fuck.
I screamed. He pulled out in panic, tripped, hit the dresser, and the dog barked like we summoned Satan. We ended up naked, panting, and both deeply emotionally damaged.
Yeah, I'm out. That's it. This episode, once again, is over because nothing can top that.
You've never felt true confusion until you think your partner is introducing surprise foot play, and it turns out to be Milo the golden retriever.
I'm still trying to figure out what position she thought he went to. But props to the guy for pulling out immediately. There's no version of that moment where you stay in and try to finish. The second there's a canine involved, that session is done.
Yes, we had a moment like this. Remember that time your dog jumped on the bed mid-sex and just laid down behind me?
Yeah, she made eye contact. Not with you, but with me. While I was mid-thrust, we just locked eyes like, you done yet?
There is no amount of therapy that prepares you for maintaining arousal while a husky stares into your soul.
None whatsoever. All right, deep breath, because this next one, it's from Max, and it reads, we were visiting my parents over the holidays.
Oh, no.
My girlfriend and I were in a childhood bedroom. In my childhood bedroom. Middle of the night, we started fooling around quietly, or so we thought. We were going slow, sweet, until the door opened and my mom walked in with folded laundry. She froze. We froze. My girlfriend was on top of me under a blanket. My mom said, I'll just leave these here, put the basket on the floor and walked out without making eye contact. I have not known peace since.
That's how you get a sleepless lifetime of flashbacks. He's going to remember that moment every time he folds a towel.
Also, let's talk about the cold terror that hits when someone walks in mid-sex. It's not even panic, it's full-blown shutdown.
You try to stay still like T-Rex rules apply. If I don't move, maybe she won't see me. But you're naked. Your balls are probably out.
Yep.
You're already seen.
We've been walked in on. Do you remember the cruise?
Yes, and it wasn't just once. I was mid-ride when housekeeping opened the door like they were entering a game show.
You screamed,
Yes.
I screamed, the housekeeper dropped a couple of towels and yelled, sorry. You know, kind of like he'd walked in on a murder.
We still tipped him at the end, even though he walked in on us multiple times. I think that was part of his plan.
Yeah, so do I. All right. This next one is what I like to call a kink curveball. It's from Sam. First time sleeping with a girl I met on a dating app.
Uh-oh.
Everything's going well. Hot makeout, undressing, foreplay on point. The mid-session, she whispers, call me daddy. I froze, tried to pivot. She doubled down. Call me daddy. So I did, but it felt wrong. She loved it. I kept doing it. Then she wanted me to whimper. At one point, I whispered, yes, daddy, and immediately felt my soul leave my body.
Look, we support kink. We support gender play. We support exploration.
But you also have to give people a heads up if
Yes.
your kink might cause spiritual disassociation.
That man said, yes, daddy, and had a full-on out-of-body experience. I bet he saw himself from above, just hovering like, bro, what are we doing right now?
And she clearly knew what she wanted. That wasn't her first rodeo.
No.
She said it with conviction.
Sometimes the thing that kills the vibe isn't what your partner wants. It's how unprepared you were for it.
That's why we're huge fans of pre-sex check-ins. Not full interviews, just like a quick, hey, anything you're super into or not into?
Otherwise, you end up saying, yes, daddy, when you were just hoping to keep it casual.
Okay, one more for this round. This one's short, and it's from Felicia. We were having sex and I felt an orgasm building, but I was insecure and didn't want to make a weird noise. So when I came, I tried to fake sneeze to cover the moan. I yelled, achoo, real loudly. He stopped and said, did you just orgasm sneeze? I said, no, but it was too late. He was crying, laughing, and I wanted to die.
Baby, you cannot come like a cartoon allergy commercial.
Hey, she thought that was less weird than making a normal pleasure sound. That's a real crime.
Also, respect for trying to be subtle and ending up doing a full Looney Tune climax.
Yeah, you ever try to muffle a moan and it makes it louder?
Yes.
Like you try to bite the pillow and end up sounding like a wounded gazelle?
Yes, that's me every time we have sex with guests in the house.
You once moaned into your own elbow and accidentally gave yourself a face hickey.
Worth it. Okay, let's talk about the aftermath. Because once the clothes are off, the music is done, the moaning has died down, and maybe one or both of you has come What the fuck do you do next?
There is no script for this part. You're naked, you're sweaty, something sticky is happening. Maybe someone's crying a little or farted or both.
And nobody wants to move first. You're both just lying there like, is this cuddle time? Is this cleanup time? Is this death?
Let's be honest. Post-sex cleanup is not sexy.
No.
There's lube on the sheets, hair stuck to your shoulder or your balls, a puddle of something no one wants to identify, and someone always makes the mistake of trying to stand up too fast and ends up walking like a baby deer.
I call it the after stagger, that slow, bow-legged shuffle to the bathroom while trying not to let anything drip. It's the sex walk of shame, and I salute it.
And don't even get me started on the towel situation. There's never a towel when you need it. You end up using an old sock, a throw pillow, or a shirt you were really, really fond of.
Oh, and that one time you used the comforter, and I swear to God, I made you sleep under a beach towel for weeks.
Yeah, you did, and I earned it.
Here's a real one. You ever finish sex and then smell something that wasn't there before, and you both just kind of look at each other like, was that you? Was that me? Was it something we disturbed?
There's nothing like the slow dawning horror of mystery funk. Like, did we shift the mattress and release a demon?
And if you're having shower sex, that moment after where you realize you just washed each other with the same soap bar you both just rode each other raw with. It's intimate, it's gross, it's love.
Or that iconic moment when you try to dry off and realize the towel is already damp from something.
The cleanup phase is where you learn everything you need to know about your partner.
Yeah.
Do they offer to wipe you off? Do they bring a warm towel? Do they steal all the blankets and roll away like a satisfied burrito?
And then, of course, there's the question, the one we all fear, the one that has ended relationships and started wars.
Say it.
Did you come?
Nope.
I'm sorry, it's real. The second someone asks that, the whole room just drops 5 degrees. Because if the answer is yes, you didn't need to ask. And if the answer is no, you just announced the failure.
And now we're not basking in post-sex glow. Now we're evaluating performance. We've got a feedback form and a survey link and a coupon for 10% off your next try.
10%, all right. And you know what sucks? Sometimes the other person comes so hard that they assume you must have too, like it's contagious.
Wow, that was amazing. Yeah, for you, Chad.
Let's normalize just asking what someone needs after sex. Not in the middle of the glow, but later. Hey, was that good for you? Without needing a gold star.
And if it wasn't good, you don't have to treat it like a personal attack. Sometimes the body's just not cooperating. Sometimes the mind's elsewhere. Sometimes it's the wrong time of the month or the wrong angle or the wrong fucking Spotify ad killed it.
Yeah, and guess what? You can try again. You can ask. You can learn. You can say, want to finish now? Or even better, how can I help?
Because post-sex awkwardness, that's not a failure. That's just reality. And it's also a damn good opportunity to show up with grace and humor and maybe a towel that isn't already covered in shame juice.
Shame juice. That leads me to the most unappreciated erotic gesture in the world.
Say it.
The hot washcloth.
Yes.
If you want to keep someone forever, get up, wet that rag, make it warm, wipe them gently like the king or queen or whatever unholy freak they are.
It's not about cleaning up. It's about care, about being present, about showing I just did filthy things to you and I still respect the hell out of your body.
Plus, you do not want to go to sleep with lube in weird places. No. Trust me.
And that shit finds crevices you didn't know existed. You'll wake up sticking to yourself like a Post-it note.
All right, we've moaned, tripped, screamed, sneezed, gotten licked by a dog, blasted ourselves in the eye, survived the post-nut cleanup chaos, and now here we are, lying in the middle of the emotional wreckage, heart still pounding, sweat drying, staring at the ceiling, wondering, who the hell am I now?
Because sex doesn't end with cleanup. It ends with the weird shit we say to fill the silence. You ever been mid-cuddle and suddenly whisper, do you believe in aliens? because same.
You ever finish fucking and then ask your partner what their favorite dinosaur was as a kid?
Yes.
I have, and it was a vulnerable moment.
Let's talk about post-sex blurts. Those raw, uncensored, brain-fried thoughts that fall out of your mouth like a dropped vibrator mid-thrust.
I once came, laid there in total bliss, looked at Lizzie and said, if I die right now, don't feel bad. I died happy.
And I said, you better not die. You still haven't made me a fucking sandwich.
But seriously, there's something about orgasm that short circuits the brain. The chemicals, the tension release, the sheer intimacy of it, it makes you weird.
I've said, I love you to someone I didn't even like after an orgasm. Not because I meant it, because my body was high and my mouth lost control.
There's a name for that. It's called post-nut confusion. You climax so hard your soul temporarily leaves the room and your inner child grabs the mic.
And sometimes that little voice says shit like, are we okay? Was that too much? Can I be the little spoon? Do you want to get married? Did I poop a little?
What the hell? And you never know if the other person is having the same chemical come down or if they're already thinking about snacks, sleep, or going ghost.
That moment when the vibe shifts, when it gets quiet and you're both just lying there, skin on skin, trying to figure out what comes next. It's beautiful, it's terrifying, it's awkward as fuck.
You ever have someone start crying after sex and
Yes.
you don't know if it's joy or regret or just straight up post-traumatic orgasmic release?
I once cried after sex and told a guy I missed my dog. He held me and said, same. We never met each other's dogs. I didn't even have one at the time.
And that's the thing. Sex can crack you open. It's not always just physical, it's emotional. And when the armor comes off, some weird ass feelings can leak out.
Shame, fear. Was I too much? Was I not enough? Was that my weirdest orgasm face or just top 5?
You ever catch a glimpse of yourself in a mirror post-sex and just freeze? Like, who the hell is that sweaty demon clinging to my life in my sheets?
One time I saw my reflection in a window and whispered, you did this, to myself.
I've seen myself limp, dripping sweat, standing over the bed like I just lost a boxing match. It was pretty humbling.
And then there are the rituals, post-sex snacks, post-sex routines. Some people want to talk, some people want to cuddle, some just vanish.
I dated a girl who'd get up immediately after sex, wrap herself in a robe, and go make toast. Every time. No words, just toast.
That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, well, it was, except one time I thought we were cuddling and she was just waiting for the toaster to pop.
I once had a guy jump up after sex and start doing push-ups. I said, what are you doing? He said, gotta keep the pump going. I said, pump what? My respect for you just left the building.
Here's my favorite weird ritual, the fridge wander. You finish sex, you're delirious, you stumble into the kitchen naked and open the fridge like you've never seen food before. And what you grab, that says everything about who you are.
For me, it's the pantry. Popcorn.
Yes.
Every damn time. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Yeah, you once drank juice right out of the bottle and then went right back to bed like a warlord.
It's called reclaiming your fluids.
Okay, well, here's what we're trying to say. The moment after sex, that's you. Not the performance, not the choreography, not the arch your back, breathe like this, moan like that. The weird, the honest, the raw.
And if your partner can handle that version of you, the one who cries, farts, steals the blankets, says, I want a baby now, and eats a Lunchable at 2 a.m.,
Then, baby, you fucked the right one.
okay, there's awkward and then there's accidental documentation awkward. We're talking sex tapes, phone footage, recording yourself when you really thought you deleted it, only to discover it 2 months later when your phone screen mirroring is on and you're handing your boss your iPad.
This is real. This is happening to people. This is the new STDs, surprise tape discoveries.
Let's be honest, at some point everyone's hit record just to see what they look like.
And then realize the answer is sweaty, off balance, and way more grunty than expected.
I once filmed us and thought, this is going to be so hot. I watched it back and was like, why am I flailing like a cat in a pillowcase?
I looked like I was trying to do push-ups and cry at the same time. Also, we were slapping flesh so loudly I thought someone had left the TV on.
And then we both looked straight up at the camera at the same time, mid-thrust, like The Office.
You can't come back from that. That tape belongs to someone else now.
Okay, this email comes from Rachel. And if you've ever fucked anywhere outside the bedroom, this one is going to punch you in the soul.
Oof.
Okay. We were making out in his truck. Things escalated. I straddled him in the passenger seat, fully clothed, but grinding hard. Right as he started touching under my shirt, I looked out the window and saw the doorbell camera. It was facing the driveway. And yes, it had night vision. And yes, his dad had access to all notifications. We spent the rest of the night pretending it didn't happen until his dad texted, "Next time, close the garage."
Holy shit.
That man is savage. Next time, close the garage. That is dad code for I saw everything, but I won't talk about it unless I need leverage.
Also, can we talk about how fast the brain calculates worst case scenarios in that moment?
You go from hell yes, I'm a sex goddess to I'm going to federal prison in one blink.
Look, if you've ever had sex outdoors, in a car, on a balcony,
Yes.
in a hot tub,
Yes.
whatever, you've already accepted a certain level of risk. But the camera era changed the game. You don't know who's watching, you don't know who's recording, and you definitely don't know who got a phone alert the second your ass cheeks hit the seat.
Okay, story time. You remember that rooftop bar in Orlando?
Oh boy.
We got handsy in that booth. It was late. Nobody was around. I was on your lap, and just as you whispered something filthy in my ear, we heard a click.
The fucking bouncer had a disposable camera, one of those old ones, like a single-use Kodak camera.
He walked past, said nothing, dropped the camera on the bar, and disappeared.
We don't know if he took a photo. We actually never found out.
Somewhere out there might be a grainy, badly lit photo of my thigh wrapped around Nash's belt buckle titled Rooftop Regret 1997.
And I kind of hope there is, because there was zero regret.
All right, this next one. This is from Tina. I was staying at my friend's apartment while visiting the city, hooked up with a Tinder guy. It was great, loud, enthusiastic, lots of spanking. I left the next morning. A few hours later, my friend texted, "The neighbors thought someone was getting murdered last night. I had to tell them it was consensual. Thanks for that."
Ooh, there is no walk of shame like the "someone thought you were being killed" walk.
Also, props to her for bringing the energy. We love a good vocal queen.
But let's be real. Thin walls are the enemy of pleasure.
Yes.
You want to let go? You want to moan? You want to scream, "Yes, daddy, rearrange my soul." But you know the guy in the next room is just trying to finish his Wordle.
I've had sex so quiet it felt like a heist. Just breathing through my teeth and trying not to squeak the mattress.
That was the Airbnb in Savannah. You were on top, and I swear we moved like we were doing Tai Chi.
I wanted to scream, but instead I whispered yes, 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 like I was at a fucking job interview.
You ever finish and immediately start apologizing to the walls?
Sorry, neighbors. Hope your baby's still asleep. My bad.
Okay, let's hit one more before we tap out this round. This is from Logan. We were studying together in college. Empty library corner. We started making out. I fingered her under the table, quietly, we thought, until she came so hard she kicked her chair over. A librarian came around the corner and said, "Everything okay?" She just nodded out of breath and said, "Yeah, literature is just really powerful."
Literature is really powerful. That's it. That's the quote of the fucking episode.
I want that on a tote bag with a discreet little wet spot in the corner.
Public sex has this intoxicating danger to it, but the moment you get caught or almost caught, it's like your soul gets vacuumed out of your ass.
And yet, still hot.
Still worth it.
All right, this is the part where people try to be filthy, like really bring the fire, and end up sounding like someone's drunk uncle trying to read fanfic out loud.
Look, we love dirty talk. We encourage it, but only if it's done right. And most of y'all are out here improvising like you're auditioning for a role you don't understand.
There's a big difference between talk dirty to me and give me an unsolicited erotic TED Talk.
The number of men who've whispered complete nonsense in my ear and thought they were being sexy.
Oh, examples?
Oh, glad you asked. Here are things I've actually been told mid-sex. You like that, you dirty meat puppet?
What?
Yeah, you want this sausage roll? Let me fill you with my man gravy.
Man gravy. All right, meat puppet? Who the fuck was that?
Someone who needs to be banned from every buffet and every bedroom on earth.
There's dirty, then there's graphic in a way that makes you feel like you need to wash your soul.
And it's not just the words, it's the tone. You can say something ridiculous, but if you say it with confidence, it might still work.
Not meat gravy.
And no.
I once said, "You like being my little cock sleeve," and immediately followed it with, "I'm sorry, that felt mean. Are you okay?" Mood dead, scene canceled.
I had a guy tell me he wanted to defile my sacred cave. I literally looked up mid-ride and said, I'm not a fucking hobbit.
So here's a PSA. If your dirty talk includes the words gravy, cave, portal, or moist hole of destiny, just go directly to jail.
Okay, time for the second flavor of awkward, the well-intentioned move that bombs. You think you're doing something hot, you've seen it in porn, you're like, this is gonna blow their mind, and then nothing.
Worse, a reaction. That slow, polite blink, the okay noise, the stillness. Or my personal favorite, what are you doing?
I once tried to do that dramatic slow crawl across the bed again. Different guy, full confidence. And my knee made that crackling Rice Krispie sound. He said, "Are you okay?" I said, "No, I have arthritis." Mood gone.
I once smacked an ass and missed so badly I hit the mattress and scared myself with the sound.
You jumped like someone slapped you.
I tried to recover. I said, "Yeah, you like that?" And she said, "You hit the pillow."
And then there's butt stuff gone wrong. This one, oof.
We've covered it already, but you gotta get clear consent. You gotta ease in. You gotta communicate. Because otherwise, you're just poking someone's back door with the urgency of a confused UPS guy.
And don't try to surprise her during missionary. That is not sexy. That is invasion.
There was one night we were trying anal stuff and I got too ambitious with my thumb. You turned around like I just asked you for your social security number.
Because you tried to change the angle without warning. You were mid-thrust, then you shifted and said, "Let's try something." Sir, that's not a pitch meeting.
Also, let's acknowledge the possibility of accidents. Lube plus pressure plus nerves equals sometimes your body says absolutely not. And if something slips out, gas, a little mess, a noise you weren't expecting.
You do not pause and look horrified. You laugh, you wipe, you reset, or you just high five and keep fucking like champs.
All right, this one's my favorite category. Wait, that made me come.
That accidental orgasm from a move so weird, so unintentional, you're not even sure what your body just did.
I once came because she bit my ear and whispered something, but I didn't even hear what she said. It could have been, "You're doing great," or "I poisoned your drink." It really didn't matter. I was completely gone.
I came once because a girl accidentally hit the right spot trying to switch positions. She was trying to grab my hips, slipped, hit the clit at the perfect angle, and I exploded like a fucking firework. She thought she hurt me.
And once it happens, you're like, do I ask for that again? Do I try to recreate it? Do I build a shrine to it?
Your partner's just standing there like, what did I do? And you're like, I don't know, but if you don't do it again, I'll die.
There should be a word for that. Accidental-gasm? Whoops-a-cum?
Surprise-gasm. Trademark it. Print the t-shirts. Surprise-gasm. Still thinking about it. What a word.
Okay, we've been laughing for, 40 plus minutes? I don't even know. We've covered the farts, the falls, the cheese, the accidental eye shots.
It's been a lot.
And it's easy to laugh at that stuff because it's just physics. That's just bodies being bodies. It's slapstick.
Right? But there is another kind of awkward, the kind you don't text your friends about the next morning, the kind that doesn't make you laugh, it makes you want to disappear.
Exactly, because sometimes the most awkward part of sex isn't the act itself, it's what happens when it's over, when the body's cool, the cum dries, when the adrenaline leaves, and the thoughts move in.
You ever have really good sex with someone, and instead of feeling proud, glowing, empowered, you just curl up, go quiet, and feel like you exposed way more than just your body?
Yeah, you're lying there thinking, did I just give away something I didn't mean to? Did I move too fast? Are they going to leave now? Do they respect me less? You're lying there in a puddle of your own poor decisions, wondering if you should check your pulse or your dignity.
It's like a shame bomb drops out of nowhere, and what was connection becomes confusion, and we don't talk about this enough. You can have hot, consensual, mind-blowing sex and still wake up feeling like shit.
Because the body and the heart, they don't always sync up. And sometimes your body says, hell yes, while your heart says, wait, we don't even know this person.
I've had sex that felt sacred in the moment, like soul connecting, levitating off the fucking sheets, and then never heard from them again.
That can fuck you up.
You start questioning everything. Was I just good sex? Did I mistake chemistry for meaning? Did I read this completely wrong?
And on the flip side, I've had sex that felt casual at the start, like we were just two bodies crashing into each other, and then something shifted. She looked at me a certain way. I touched her a certain way, and suddenly I'm like, fuck, this isn't casual anymore, is it?
Yeah, that oh shit moment when your body wrote a check your emotional bank account wasn't ready to cash.
It's the walk of shame, but it's internal. Nobody sees it. But inside, you're doing laps in your own guilt and doubt.
You ever come so hard, so fast, and so emotionally that your post-orgasm brain starts glitching? You're like, do I love them now? Do they love me? Should I say something? Should I not say something? Do they think I'm crazy? Do I think I'm crazy?
That's when people say dumb shit. I've
Yes.
never done this before. You feel like home. I think I'm falling for you.
You don't mean it, not always, but the chemicals in your body are so high and your vulnerability is so raw, it just comes out.
And then afterward, you're sitting in your car like, what the fuck did I just say? Did I ruin it? Did I make it weird?
And God help you if the other person didn't feel the same way.
Yeah, now you're the one who cared more, the one who caught feelings, the one who got too intimate too soon, the one who said, please don't fall in love with me, and meant the opposite.
The worst part, it doesn't even have to be about love. It's just about that craving for reassurance, that aching question, am I still safe now that we've done this?
Because sex changes shit, no matter how casual it was, no matter what you both said beforehand.
Your guard was down, your walls were open, and sometimes that feels amazing. And other times it feels like you just showed someone your whole soul and they nodded politely and put their pants on.
So what do you do when you fuck too early? When the sex was fire, but the foundation wasn't there yet?
You tell the truth. You say, hey, that was a lot, and I just need to know where we are. Or, I know we said this was chill, but I'm feeling some things and I don't want to pretend I'm not. Or you could even say, that was amazing, but now I feel a little exposed. Can we just talk for a second?
Yeah, you don't bottle it, you don't shame yourself, you don't spiral into I ruined it mode.
Because your need for clarity is not a turnoff. Your emotional honesty is not too much. Your desire for safety is not a flaw.
If they ghost after that, they were gonna ghost anyway.
If they get weird because you dare to express a feeling, they're not your person.
But if they lean in, if they say, yeah, I felt that too, or even, hey, I'm not sure what it means yet, but I'm still here, that's everything.
Because awkwardness doesn't ruin connection.
Right, silence does.
Pretending does.
And let's be honest, the only thing more awkward than post-sex spiraling is laying in bed with someone and acting like you're totally fine when you're actually full of questions and hope and fear, and please don't pull away from me yet.
So say the thing. Say it clumsily. Say it awkwardly. Say it anyway, because that's the realest intimacy there is.
All right, we've officially told more awkward sex stories than any two married people probably should, and somehow We're still married.
Barely.
Oh,
If you tell that slipped out and hit my own knee story again, I'm calling a lawyer.
that was a precision error, not a reflection of my technique.
You tried to re-enter like you were loading a dart into a Nerf gun. Don't flatter yourself.
Anyway, we're here at the end, and if you're still listening after bad angles, lost directions, wandering tongues, clit, hide and seek, and someone literally yelling, "Did I just sit on your nut?" then congratulations, you are one of us.
You've earned your Fumble badge. Wear it proudly. It means you're human and horny and brave enough to keep trying.
Because that's the whole point, right? Awkward sex isn't the sign of a broken connection, it's the start of one.
You don't get to great sex by avoiding the mess. You get there by laughing through it.
By pulling out and saying, "Wait, wrong hole." By slipping off the bed and hearing her whisper, "Don't die." By getting tangled in straps and trying to pretend it's on purpose.
You don't learn your partner's body by nailing it on the first try. You learn by missing and then asking, "Was that it?" And then adjusting and then missing again. And then finding it like, "Oh, okay, there she is. Damn, she moves."
Great sex is just bad sex that got practiced with someone patient, someone real, someone who's not afraid to laugh with you while your vibrator dies mid-orgasm and you both stare at each other like, "So, want to cuddle or cry?"
Let's be honest, our best sex didn't come from perfection. It came from permission to be clumsy, to be noisy, to try shit, to say weird shit, to say nothing at all and just fumble around until something made us both moan.
And awkward sex is also usually the best sex to remember because once you get past the cringe, you realize, oh shit, we were alive.
Exactly. We were alive. We were trying. We were risking it. There's something electric about imperfect intimacy.
You can have wild, raunchy, porn-level cinematic sex, but if you don't have the kind of sex where you both just bust out laughing because her hair got caught in your armpit sweat,
then you haven't had sex. You haven't had real sex. You've had rehearsed fucking with no bloopers. And I'm sorry, but I want bloopers. I want giggly, weird, "Is that your toe or your dick" sex?
I literally hope that you can tell the difference. So, if you're out there worried that you're not sexy enough because you queefed during doggy style or you accidentally licked an eyebrow, just know you're exactly the kind of lover people remember because you're real, and real beats perfect every single time.
Let's leave you with this. If the sex is good but awkward, keep going. If the sex is bad but kind, keep going. If the sex is weird but makes you laugh like you just got away with something, absolutely keep going.
If it's all tension and no talking, that's not sexy. That's exhausting.
If you're scared to laugh during sex because they'll think you're not in the mood, ask yourself why their ego's that fragile.
And if you're scared to talk during sex because you might say the wrong thing, say that shit anyway. We all say dumb stuff like, "Wow, your vagina smells like strawberries."
I'd like to clarify that was a scented candle, not my actual biology.
Still, though, very memorable.
If you're with someone who can't handle a little awkwardness, a little honesty, a little, "Oh shit, I need a break because my hip just popped," then they're not having sex with you. They're having sex with their own idea of what you're supposed to be.
And you deserve better than that. You deserve someone who says, "Fuck yes, let's laugh, let's mess up, let's keep going." Even if the lube bottle flies across the room, even if the nipple clamps won't open, even if somebody's dog walks in mid-thrust and judges you from the doorway.
Because nothing is sexier than trying.
Trying to please, trying to connect, trying again when the first 5 positions didn't quite work.
And most of all, trying to be real. Even if your real involves socks, sweat, and losing a cock ring under the mattress until next spring.
We didn't even talk about that.
No.
So here's to awkwardness, to fumbles, to unexpected noises, missed spots, and way too much eye contact.
Here's to clits you can't find, erections that ghosted, and the dirty talk that made 0 sense but got the job done.
Here's to the best sex you'll ever have, not looking anything like porn.
Because it looks like you, sweaty, silly, hot as hell, trying your best, moaning, laughing, learning, and loving it all anyway.
Now, go forth, fuck awkwardly, and don't you dare stop.
Because awkward sex
is still fucking sex.
Yes.